But getting back to China and the economic fight or the trade war that we are in right now, what is the next step? What is the president waiting for in terms of implementing that next tranche on $250+ billion in goods from China? And what should we look for in terms of next catalysts between the U.S. and China?
Well, as we've said many times, we are happy to talk with the Chinese anytime the Chinese want to talk. They have what is essentially a very long list of demands. As you know, my office put out a report that showed over 50 unfair trade practices China engages in. These are the kinds of things that need to be done. And if I would urge everybody to read very carefully the speech of Vice President Pence yesterday at the Hudson Institute, because it lays out the path forward.
It was chilling, because particularly what he said about the military and how China is trying to dominate the South China Sea. I got to get your take on this new NAFTA, this new NAFTA agreement now serving for the model of future trade pacts. Apparently, the Trump administration said to be arranging talks with other countries using this USMCA as the template to redefine American trade deals going forward. Tell us what this means in terms of more deals on the docket.
Sure. We have a number of things moving forward. Ambassador Robert Lighthizer is the champion on this. We are going to open negotiations with Japan. That's been announced. We're talking to Great Britain. We have ongoing negotiations with the Europeans. This is an amazing thing that the president's doing. Prior to his tough stances on trade, nobody wanted to talk to us. Why? Because they were using us as a piggy bank. And now they want to talk, and we're getting action, which is a good thing. So this agreement, the USMCA, basically does provide a template for what a modern trade agreement should look like. One of the first principles of that agreement is strong regional content protections for labor and the environment, which basically will allow us to keep our supply chain here at home and have a strong manufacturing base. So that's part of it. But you also have the modern things like strong protections for biologic intellectual property, new provisions on digital trade. So we bridge the gap between protecting our manufacturing base from unfair trade practices to protecting our innovators and entrepreneurs. And Maria, the other thing I should say is that this Defense Industrial Base Assessment report, if you look at it writ large, it's part of a large suite of policies President Trump is implementing to strengthen our manufacturing and defense industrial base. Tax cuts, deregulation, these tough trade actions, steel and aluminum tariffs, Buy American. These are all things that work synergistically in a grand strategy way to make this country strong again, great again. And the leadership of President Trump and Vice President Pence is unparalleled.
Yeah. You had mentioned this united front against China. Are you feeling that from these other partners that you mentioned, Japan, the Europeans, to get together with the U.S. to try to get China to change its behavior? Real quick, we got to jump, Peter.
Yeah, as Vice President Pence said yesterday, there's emerging consensus around the world that China basically threatens the world order. Last week at the UN, we had an agreement with Japan and Europe basically to crack down on Chinese tax on intellectual property and their non-market economy behavior. So this is an allied, coordinated front to basically get fair, free, and reciprocal trade and safety and prosperity, freedom of navigation, a whole range of things that China right now simply isn't respecting.
Right, and they're not even admitting that they're doing it. Peter, it's great to see you, sir. Thanks so much.
Take care.
Peter Navarro joining us there.